I am a mouthpiece of the state.
A lot of people are criticizing us, this organization, for misusing their tax money.
I did not want to come on the show. I'm still not sure if I should have come. We are holding the power to account, but that power is the international establishment. We realized that India does have a lot of English language platform, but Pakistan does not have a single platform. Whenever you talk to any government official, they always talk about Pakistan's narrative. What's Pakistan's narrative? We won't be belittling Imran Khan or Shehbaz Sharif or any other politician for that matter.
Welcome back. Chatroom, which is on fire today. I'm going to be asking your questions on my mic unfiltered. Today, I have with me the editor-in-chief of Pakistan TV, Saqib Tanveer. Hi, Saqib. Thank you so much for your time. I know how busy you are. Welcome to the chatroom, which is
So much for having me. And you said it's on fire today?
It's a hot seat you're on. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
All right. Almost 2 months in running, I have to mention over here. I really had to convince this person to be here because I wanted to ask all the questions we've been receiving on social media in person from people about this new organization. So to begin with, Saqib, how old are you?
I'm 37. I'm younger. But going back to your point, as you wanted to have me on the show, I did not want to come on the show. I'm still not sure if I should have come. Only for one reason, because your show is important. You interview important people who've done something in their life. And probably I shouldn't belittle your show by coming here. But since you guys forced me, so I had no other option.
No, absolutely. You're not the one to toot your own horn. But like we said, this is not about you. This is literally to ask questions about the organization. All right, Saqib. So 37, turning 38 soon.
No, I just turned 37 like 2 or 3 weeks ago, so not very soon.
Right. Like you said yourself, quite youngish for a person to head a whole organization. People say that this was a job for Talat Hussain and somehow landed in your lap. Is this true? If yes, how so?
First, Zohran Mamdani became the mayor of New York at the age of 34. Bilawal Bhutto is 37. He's heading a political party, so probably not too young to head a platform. But I've spent like most of my life doing journalism. This is my 15th year in journalism. So if you were to ask, or if you were to set up a news organization and you were to have some sort of prerequisites for the head of the organization, you would put in like 15 years of experience. So that's pretty much, covers it. But as for the facts behind the establishment of this platform, no, he was not supposed to head this. Actually, nobody knew that who will be the head of this.
But you
platform. Yeah, no.
Oh.
Even I did not. So I was helping PTV come up with this platform. I was helping them with the hiring process and everything. So we had hired almost everybody. And that's when the management had a meeting and they said, oh, we've hired everybody, but we still don't know who will be the editor-in-chief. And I was in the room and somebody pitched my name that he's the one who has done this from ground zero. So let's have him as the editor-in-chief. I had a few reservations. The most important one being that I come from private sector, and when you join a public sector organization, you get paid from the taxpayers' money, and that comes with a lot of responsibility. So I had told them that PTV has this baggage that people say that it is the mouthpiece of the government and it is used against its political opponents. So I joined on one condition only, that this platform would not feature any domestic political content. We won't be doing any domestic propaganda. We won't be belittling Imran Khan or Shehbaz Sharif or any other politician for that matter. We'll only cover international politics, Pakistani issues related to international issues, and we'll be speaking to the world on behalf of Pakistan.
You kind of answered all my questions already, but I'm still done.
Yeah.
But I have to mention, Saqib, you're not my boss here in the studio. You're a guest, and so excuse me for everything.
But yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So to begin with, you've always worked in private sector.
Now, so.
You've always worked in private sector. I am not aware if even as a journalist you ever worked in the public sector.
I did.
Oh, okay. So first of all, how is the change like? Second of all, you already spoke about the responsibility. Do you think, I know it's only been 2 months, but are you doing justice to the responsibility of heading a state organization?
I think not completely, because
that's humble.
We produce 30 news stories per day for the website. 10 to 11 videos in a 24-hour news cycle. That amounts to 40 stories. And if you were to combine the number of words in all those videos and text stories, it would exceed around 25,000 words per day.
Mhm.
And it's humanly impossible to proofread 25,000 words in a day.
Right.
So, but it's my job to proofread and check and recheck everything. So I haven't been able to do that, but I do have a very smart team, people like you, people like Faisal, Asfan, Shamber, Umar, and all the other people that we have. They're very smart, so they're doing a good job. And that allows me to, to sit back and probably enjoy a good cup of coffee.
Let's talk about the team. It's a young-ish team for a whole new organization. There's a lot of Gen Z in here. First of all, how do you strike the right balance? Because people of all ages, you yourself are quite young. I mean, it's a huge responsibility. We are the face of Pakistan towards the whole world. How do you make sure, first of all, that any information going out is accurate? Any new post that they do on their own is accurate? And then how do you maintain the morale of the team?
So you mentioned the buzzword Gen Z. Every media organization, when you talk about New York Times or if you talk about Pakistani news organizations, everybody's talking about one thing, and it is getting the attention of Gen Zs and probably what's the next generation? Generation Alpha.
Mm-hmm.
So they all want their eyeballs. So, but for us, we do have a good mix of experienced people as well as Gen Z. But when you say that we have Gen Z in the newsroom, it kind of sounds like that they are inexperienced people, so they are bound to make mistakes, which um, I don't agree with that perception because they are one of the brilliant minds that we have, one of the best minds in Pakistani journalism. We have in a newsroom, and yes, they may not be aware of certain nuances, but everybody who comes into this profession at this young tender age, 23, 24, they do have to go through their paces.
Right.
So, but for us, we have this advantage that when we were launching this platform, we had different orientation sessions where we met the information minister, where we interacted with the DGISPR. We also met the spokesperson of the Foreign Office and other important government officials who set the narrative of the country. And those meetings were very helpful. They helped the whole team in understanding the objective of this platform and also understanding the narrative of Pakistan. Whenever you talk to any government official, they always talk about Pakistan's narrative. But when you scratch the surface and ask them about what's Pakistan's narrative, Pakistan ka narrative kya hai, so you usually don't get a satisfactory answer.
Mm-hmm.
So probably we are the ones who will be able to provide that answer in probably 1 year or 2 years time. So
All right.
and I hope you'll soon be interviewing the information minister. He'll also be able to tell you some things about Pakistan's narrative.
Right. So you built this ground up in 19 days. And then for such a huge organization to run, again, it's very sensitive because we are literally giving out Pakistan's news to the world. People actually run test runs for months. Within 2 weeks, you were able to launch the channel.
Yeah.
Are you satisfied with that?
No, I'm not. But these 2 weeks, I mean, the timeline of 2 weeks is not specific to the software side of the organization. I manage the software side of it, but the hardware side, that is the civil works and all the renovation that we did in 13 days, the credit goes to Ms. Fatma. She's the executive director of the organization. She spearheaded that, and everything that you see in this organization, aesthetically, good or bad, that's her credit. But in terms of the software, I mean, you can never be satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you take 2 years to launch a platform, you will never be satisfied. You will never be ready. I I recall a conversation that I had with TTV management before we were going to launch, because we were going to launch on the 15th of September.
Mm-hmm.
But at that time, we wanted to invite the Prime Minister to inaugurate the facility. But Prime Minister was very busy in his diplomatic engagements. He was visiting Saudi Arabia and Qatar at that time. And and the management pitched it back then that we can, postpone the launch. And I told them that I would be happy because that will allow me a lot more time to prepare. But then again, if they'd given me a week or two or even a month, they would still not have been ready. You always get proverbial cold feet when you're about to launch. So I
We
thought,
nosedived in.
yeah, let's go ahead. And also, the Prime Minister was supposed to travel to the US, to the UK, and we thought that we should be on air when Prime Minister make those important engagements. So yeah, we launched on 16th of September.
Your managerial style is not very traditional. I have worked in state media organizations before. A lot of people here have.
When you have to criticize somebody, that's such kind of terms that you use. It's not traditional.
It's not traditional in a good way. You won't believe it, but there's a positive connotation to it. But my question is, how do you then manage to be a boss and then a friendly boss at the same time? Because I'll tell you, you're approachable. Anyone from any team can come up to you for anything they want to talk about. Is this you as a person, or did you practice being a boss?
So there are two types of managers in journalism industry. One is somebody who has been a journalist himself, and the other one is somebody who's an administrator. So I've been a journalist myself. I've spent all my life doing journalism, and I love reporting. The best experience of journalism that I think the first experience of journalism that I got that I can recall was when you're at your home and you've done something good and you just wait for father to come in, and when the door bells, your mother comes in or your father comes in, and you're the first one to break the news to them. So that's the first experience. See, I was the first one that I broke the news to him or her, and that's what journalism is. You want to be the first person to report the news. The news could be good or it could be bad, but that's who I am. So that's why I love the vibe in a newsroom. I do have my own room where I don't sit much. I spend most of my time in the newsroom because I think I've hired a good bunch, very lively. Our newsroom is a very lively place. If you were to visit our newsroom, you will not find those old hags, but you'll find people dancing around, people, loud music, ongoing bets. Our common room is filled with foosball bets. So that's the kind of atmosphere that we would want. And also, it's a very stressful work when you are responsible for each and every word that goes out of your platform. Then, to blow off some steam, you have to spend some time with your team. And if you're spending 14 hours in the office, and those guys are your friends and family.
Right.
So you have to be, approachable. You have to be friends with them. You have to enjoy your time there. So that's why I feel I have to be approachable as well as some level of friendship with them. But when the time comes to turn off the switch of being a boss, I'm very smart with that.
And you're very good at that also. So like I said, so far so good. But soon, Saqib, there's going to be a time where there's going to be a lot of burnout.
About this debate on burnout, I've never experienced burnout in journalism. Because if journalism is something that is your passion and you do it as a job, then the chances of burnout are very low. But if it's something 9 to 5 for you, then obviously you will burn out very soon.
But this is not a 9 to 5 organization. Yeah. It's a 9 to 9 organization.
Yeah. So if it's not a passion or a calling for you, then there will be problems for you. And that's how every other industry works. People who do it out of their own passion, they'll survive, they'll thrive. But people who take it as a 9 to 5 job, for them, the stress of filing a story, stress of being held accountable for each and every word that they write, they will burn out. And that's how it happens. That's how the industry works. So,
okay, now this is a rather serious question about your editorial competence.
Editorial competence.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think, because you've been a journalist and now you're the editor-in-chief, I know it's like a huge shift in your roles, but do you think sometimes there still can be a bias in your judgment in terms of news? For example, let's say, would you allow the newsroom to report the losses of Liverpool?
No, I won't.
You won't, right? So how's that?
That's the kind of authoritarianism that I bring in with me. So my mentor, Sayyid Talat Hussain, the guy that you mentioned earlier,
yeah,
he had this statement written on his door when he was the editor at the news, that that democracy ends here. So when you enter into the room of the editor, it's his editorial judgment, and everybody has to follow that judgment. Um, with Liverpool, it's not a very important subject for us. So if somebody wants to do a story when my team loses and they don't do a story when it wins, then it's a problem. But if there's reporting every game of Liverpool, I'm happy.
All right, makes sense. Fair enough. Now, this is a popular opinion out there. I've heard this among people I sit with. I've heard this on social media. I've heard
You only
this with
said
my
5 questions or two or three.
right. So this is almost the end. I've heard this with people I've worked with before. You have addressed this slightly, but I'm going to go into detail. This is a lot of people are criticizing us, this organization, for misusing their tax money because, see, 17-ish channels for PTV have been launched, some still running. They just don't understand the need for a new digital organization with its own budget and editorial independence. So how do you justify that?
So we have around 10 different platforms of PTV Global, PTV Bulan, you name it. And then there are 140 channels in the country, private sector channels. Out of those 140, we have around 65 news channels, 65 or 50 if I'm not wrong. So there's already a lot of content out there, a lot of newsy content available for the public. But there's not a single platform in Pakistan. Probably now you have Channel News Asia or Channel One. But apart from that, we don't have a single platform that speaks to a global audience. Whatever we produce, it's targeted for the local audience, for domestic audience. I'll be very candid, and I just mention the need for this platform. So post conflict, post Marka Haq or Operation Sindoor, as India would say, we realized that India does have a lot of English language platforms that can speak to the global audience. But Pakistan does not have a single platform. We do have Dawn, we do have Tribune, but most of their coverage is directed or is meant for the local audience. But there's not a single platform that can speak to somebody sitting in New York or somebody sitting in London, Geneva, Brussels. So if you look at it from that angle, then this is probably the first platform in the country that is digital first, that is owned by the state, and is probably smarter than other platforms because our strength is only 44 people. We are a very smart, lean, less fat kind of an organization which has the ability to operate at a level or speed where other organizations may falter. So I think we are pioneers in terms of being the first digital platform in the country that is speaking to an international audience.
All right. Lastly, it has several times been spoken on the international platforms also that we run a hybrid country. Would you say that you are not a mouthpiece of the state?
I am a mouthpiece of the state. I am.
Where does the editorial independence go then?
So it all depends on how you frame it. If you are a mouthpiece of the state and you're doing propaganda for them, or you're doing their bidding for their, shady stuff, then it becomes problematic. There are a lot of issues within the country. Our democracy is questionable. People might argue, NGOs have said that, and some might say it's not. It's a hybrid regime. Even our defense minister has said this on the record. But we are a third world country.
I like to say developing.
Yeah, okay. Let's put it like that. And our institutions, some of our institutions, they are part of that third world or developing country paraphernalia. But the expectation from the media industry to behave like a developed nation, I think that's a little unfair. We are still, the private media in Pakistan was launched, I think, in 2021, 2001. So it's only 25 years. So it's a very young industry. We still need more time. If you compare us with India, where even the private sector is mouthpiece of the government, or even if you talk about Fox News and other organizations, right-wing organizations in the US, then you would see that Pakistani media or even the state media in Pakistan is relatively better. So we are doing good, but it goes without saying that we are funded by the state. We are funded by the taxpayers. Our responsibility is to them. And normally in journalism, it is said that you are supposed to hold the power to account, and we are holding the power to account, but that power is the international establishment. We are presenting Pakistan's version to them. So we are Pakistan's mouthpiece.
Thank you so much for being a good sport, Saqib, as you are every day. Ladies and gentlemen, I made sure to ask all the questions that were out there. If you still have any, please leave them in the comments, and I will probably have him again in a few months. Conversations never end. I will catch you again next week here in the chat room with Shizza.